Welcome, Black Hollywood Live fans. On today's Fit Club, we talk body shaming and Playboy playmate Dani Mathers and getting fit after 40. Stay tuned for this and more.
You're tuned into Black Hollywood Live, Fit Club.
I just fade away.
Hey, welcome to Fit Club, you guys. I am your host, Fallon Mercedes. You guys can find me online at Fit with Fallon or fitwithfallon.com. My lovely co-hosts.
I'm Shaka Smith. You can find me online on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Shaka Strong.
And we will now do the Tiana Taylor dance. Just kidding. All right, you guys, we have a great show for you in store today. We have some hot topics, one being Playboy playmates Dani Mathers. Is that who you're saying?
Yeah, Dani
Mathers. And her body shaming, what was it, a tweet?
Yeah, Snapchat
that she did recently. We're also going to talk about how being fit after 40 can definitely prevent different health issues and many, many other topics. But let's get into this Playboy playmate. Now, I was in the locker room today at my gym, and there was a woman who was probably in her 70s or late 60s, and I was talking to one of my trainers about this incident, and I could literally see in the mirror her eyes get wider, and she kind of chimed in, and it was really interesting to see her perspective, from an older woman who works out. She was, as I was telling the story, getting undressed, so if those of you out there, if you don't know the story, we'll break it down for you. So Dani Mathers, Playboy bunny, playmate, obviously hot, obviously beautiful, loves to work out, is at LA Fitness, and sometimes we see things in the locker room that some of us may not want to see, but she took it upon herself to take a picture of a woman who was older, and she put, do you have the hashtag or the what she wrote on it?
Well, yeah, she wrote something. She said, if I have to see this, if I can't unsee this, neither can you. And she put it on her story, which was available publicly for anyone to see. And she later claimed it was only for one person, as if that would make it better,
Yeah.
And so the LAPD, or not the LAPD, actually, it might have been the LAPD. Police department sought this person who she took the picture of, and the 70-year-old woman has now come forth, and she does want Dani Mathers to be held to account for what she's done. So she now faces misdemeanor dissemination of a private image.
Now, if you guys don't know, Shaka is not only a bodybuilder, but he is a lawyer. So this is perfect.
Yeah.
How do you feel about, and this is something that I was talking to the older woman in the locker room and my trainer about, how do you feel about her getting possibly 6 months in jail time
I think,
for posting this?
I think that would be appropriate.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, the message needs to be driven home. So to some extent, she would be an example, but especially for someone of her ilk, she's kind of a public figure, and she's someone who looks exceedingly good. In these settings, that's kind of her thing.
Yeah.
And for someone of that kind of standing to then go make fun of someone, it underscores really the need for punishment, I think, in this case.
Yeah. Even though she went onto YouTube and publicly apologized on Twitter, then deleted her social media account, you still think even after apology she should be held accountable?
Deleting her social media compared to having your body exposed to the world for, and her just denigrating you, really.
Yeah.
It's such an invasion of privacy. I think maybe some of us get used to that invasion because we live in social media world.
And that's what I was about to say. It's crazy how, we're so used to always tweeting, snapping, showing almost every aspect of our world, and we need to draw the line. So I think it's actually good that, she's going to be held accountable. And the first thought that came to my mind was, that poor woman, that's somebody's grandma, mom, wife,
She's now been assaulted,
Exactly. And but it was interesting because as I was talking to the older woman in the locker room, I asked her, do you think it's fair that she might face 6 months in jail? And she said, although she was very upset about it, she felt that 6 months jail time or any jail time was a little overboard. She felt like maybe just having her to do community service, say 6 months at a nursing home, working with elderly, getting some, I guess, feeling more sympathetic for what she had done when she's working with that age group.
Yeah, I think that might be a great solution in terms of having that be part of the punishment. Maybe she gets 2 months in jail and goes and works with the elderly, but I think some jail time in this case would be appropriate.
See, I don't think it's appropriate because I feel like, although I don't agree with what she did, but I feel like we are still kind of learning this social media stuff, so we don't know where the, like,
A naked
it's
picture
different.
of someone else? No,
But you know, if you drink and drive and you get caught, you could face jail time, but there's no rule book that
because
says.
she didn't contemplate the punishment. Or
No,
the, yeah.
I just honestly, I didn't even know that was possible, that she could get jail time for doing that.
Oh, but you must. I mean, I would think most people know it's illegal to take a naked picture of someone else,
I mean,
especially when that person's unaware you're taking the picture.
yes, if they're unaware, but I just.
So I think we all associate that with illegality. We might not think we're going to get caught, but we know that if I'm taking a picture of someone naked and they don't know I'm taking a picture, this is probably illegal.
Well, I would think, you'll get in trouble, but I didn't know jail time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it fits the offense. I think you have an expectation of privacy in the locker room.
Yeah.
There you are, naked, exposed to the world, and you certainly don't expect someone to take a picture and then publish it. And now it's national news.
Yeah.
You know.
Poor lady.
So it doesn't make it better that she was not only going to send it to one person, but the fact that it's national news is even more shame. You know.
Yeah, and I think it's one thing, if you're the one putting your body out there, if you are, like a Kim Kardashian, you want to show all your body parts, I feel like you're subject to getting criticized. But like you said, where she's a victim, and she's elderly.
And not only was it just a naked picture, it was like she was denigrated. You know, if I can't unsee this, neither can you. Like, to me, jail time's appropriate. Yeah. And a lot of times I see people, especially like the social media generation, like they'll tweet and get in an accident while they're driving. But a month later, they're back to tweeting and driving. You know? So sometimes I think in this case, you need some jail time to really drive home the point. This is not acceptable at all. Yeah,
you guys out there listening, especially on iTunes, please, let us know in the comment area. How do you feel about this story? Do you feel like she should face jail time? Do you feel like, she's taking body shaming to a whole nother level? I personally feel, especially that she's a playmate, and I get it, your body's hot and you're in these magazines, but I feel like she definitely shouldn't be judging other people. It's one thing if she's, excited or proud of her own body, but shame somebody else for their body not looking the same as...
When you're in a position of power in your field, I think it's incumbent on you to promote positivity and not negativity. And there she is, in terms of body image, she's at the top of her field. She should be promoting positivity,
But karma comes around, because when she's 70-something years old, she's going to look at her body and be like, oh, man.
We should mention that we did have a guest today, Autumn Calabrese. Unfortunately, she's stuck on set, so she cannot make it. She's going to try to reschedule soon, so hopefully we'll have her back in the studio for you guys.
We'll get her in here. Don't worry, you guys. Speaking about aging and getting older, you found a cool study that says, as you work out in your 40s, 50s, it can actually help prevent stroke and other health issues. Can you elaborate more on that?
Yeah, it's one of those things where so many people you hear, oh, it's too late. What do I need to get fit for? I'm not in my 20s or 30s anymore. But it can actually lead to positive health benefits. So they did a study between 1999 and 2009, which involved 20,000 people between 45 and 50. That's a lot
of people right there.
Exactly. So they had them on. They did like a treadmill study and rated people based on their fitness. And they found that people that were of the highest fitness were 37% less likely to suffer from stroke after the age of 65. So they were doing something in their 40s and 50s to prevent something 15, 20 years down the line.
Yeah.
And so I think that was an incredible thing to note, that you can change, the way things are going.
Yeah, very incredible. And like you were saying, oftentimes people, as they get older, they think, well, what am I getting ready for? Nothing. And you would think, like my dad, for instance, he suffered a stroke a couple years ago and has diabetes. And I never ever thought that it would happen to him because he was so active, in his 20s, teens, and even in his, early 30s. But then he just kind of fell off the wagon. But I thought having had him, doing karate, doing gymnastics, boxing, that would have prevented those things from happening. But unfortunately, it didn't. He should have stayed on the ball, especially with the exercising and his nutrition.
Yeah, absolutely. So staying continually healthy is always going to work wonders for you. And we know that we're living longer now. People are living to 70s, 80s, 90s. And so if you really want to preserve your quality of life, it's never too late to start.
Yeah. All right. So we have 5 reasons why you won't reach your business and fitness goals.
Yeah. I love this one because they're so well married. We're always talking about career and fitness and how to balance the two, but really, if you can marry the two and just do well in both.
Yes. The first one on the list is you are an info junkie. So how can being an info junkie prevent you from reaching your goals in both areas?
Well, I'm sure we're probably both guilty of this.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was going to say. I automatically thought, wait, that's Fit Club. But what I can say is I do utilize the stuff I learn, and we get to use it for our careers on the show, right?
Yeah, exactly. We found a way to make all that being a fit information junkie work for us. But yeah, so we can get bogged down in information. You're getting things left and right, and this diet and that diet. And sometimes you can get bogged down and decide, I don't know what to do, and then end up not doing anything.
Yeah. So you kind of get like decision fatigue.
Exactly.
I often get that when I go into, there's certain stores I actually won't go into because there's too many options. I get overwhelmed. Everything is cute, and I'm going to spend all my money.
Yeah.
So I like to go to the stores that have less clothes. Like, sale racks, I don't even touch. It's just, I'll be there forever.
Too much.
It's too much.
Yeah.
I just quit.
Yeah, it's the same thing with fitness. It's like Atkins diet or Mediterranean diet or this new diet or, so.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So you make decisions, people. Make decisions.
Number 2, when you allow the wrong people into your environment, that can affect your, your fitness and your work.
Yeah, I think it's something we know, but sometimes we forget because we like certain people. But, if someone is negative and having a negative impact, when it comes to fitness, you might need to associate with other people that would be positive.
Well, I think we've all seen this. When you have that friend that is lazy, who always wants pizza every Friday night, and you're like, listen, and I'm trying to reach my fitness goals.
And you're bound to give in some of those nights and have the pizza too.
You're like, oh, okay. They tell you earn it. You look great. Yeah, so you got to keep those people far away. Number 3, you let your social media seduce you into comparing.
The comparison game. Yeah. I think I'd mentioned on the show, my first competition, a guy had told me, comparison's the thief of joy.
Oh, I love that. I think I actually told you that before, that I love that. That's a tweet.
Yeah, exactly. That's a little tweet for you guys. Comparison's the thief of joy. And, for me, it was at that show, I was completely happy with the way I looked until I started looking around. And social media, we do the same thing. We look at these great bodies, and as this article mentioned, one thing to remember is you're looking at someone's final product, not their rough draft. So obviously I'm putting my best version of me on that photo shoot picture comes out. And that's like timed down to the hour to look good for that one day. And then it's edited afterwards. Yeah. So you really don't want to use that as a metric, Look at it for inspiration, but do not get into the comparison game.
I feel like us women, and I'm sure you guys do it too, but especially for us women, I feel like we do it so much when we see, a woman who had a baby and bounces back quickly. And, we try to, well, how come I didn't bounce back? Or I didn't even have a kid. How come I don't look like that? And it can... It's to the point sometimes where I have even unfollowed certain people because I'm like, listen, those 6-pack abs are never going to happen to me. I will always be a 4-packer. So you know what? I can't take looking at every single selfie, so I'm going to unfollow you. Yeah. I like to follow people who inspire me, but they're like not like on roids or, because I feel like, and we've had this conversation before, there's a lot of girls who I didn't know were on those substances until you told me. And I'm like, well, that makes sense because here I am
doing everything they told me to do.
Not getting those same results, where they're running to the surgeon.
Yeah, I think when it comes to social media, it has to be about what is inspiring to you, what you find positive. I think a lot of times we follow people, but we don't follow the same rules in our personal life that we do on social media. And if we were more discerning on social media as we are in our personal lives, I think we'd probably be a little bit happier with social media. So follow people that you would also want to be your friend when you read about them.
Exactly.
Yeah, just don't follow them because they look good. What are they about? And so make a conscious decision, and I think that will help a lot.
Yeah, I like that. That's why I follow you, because I actually like you. And number 4, you play the waiting game. I thought this one was interesting because I think I can't even count how many times. I still haven't done my fitness show.
I'm waiting for you to do John Sally's vegan
the
plan.
vegan challenge.
Yeah.
So yes, the time is now after I come back from vacation.
Yeah, start now. Because what I like about the waiting game is there's never any no good time.
Yeah.
And it was funny. I was talking to someone years ago about having children, and they were like, when you want to have a baby, you just have to have it because
You're never ready.
a good time.
Yeah. No,
and it's the same thing when it comes to fitness. We find all these excuses for this and that, and I got this job, and we're flying home to Boston. Start now.
Yeah. It's so funny because I preach this to my clients. And again, I need to
Hey, well, you can be a public role model right now.
I need to take it in myself. And number 5, you equate busy with productive. This one I see all the time.
Yeah.
And, sometimes I have to sit my own self down and say, what is it that you really need to get done?
Yeah.
Because you're doing all this, but really
You're not moving the ball.
Exactly. Yeah. Like when I go to the gym, sometimes I have a 20-minute workout and I kicked my butt. And there's other times where I'm in there for an hour and 20.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't even burn half the calories that I did in 20 minutes. So I think this is, a really, really good one.
Yeah, and that's just, it's going to be like a self-check. You have to look at what you've done and say, look, am I tired because I was productive, or am I tired because I just found busy work to do?
Yeah.
And that's when I've also fallen into the trap of where I have to check myself and say, wait a minute, let's not just be busy. Let's actually be productive.
Yeah. How do you, or what suggestions or tips would you give yourself or even to other people? How do you check yourself? How do you know when to check yourself?
I don't know. It's almost
when your belt and your jeans can't fit and your stomach is hanging over?
It's almost an automatic process for me now. I guess if when it comes to fitness, if I'm leaving the gym, 3 or 4 days a week, and I notice I'm just not tired, like I just had too much of a good time for the 4 days in a week, then I know I was busy. I wasn't really productive. When you leave the gym, you should have a little fatigue. You should feel like you went through something difficult. You know? You don't want to injure yourself, but it should feel like a workout.
Yeah. You've been going to too many workout Wednesdays, huh?
Yeah,
Chatting, socializing with all the celebrities.
And there is a time for that. I mean, you always want your fitness space or whenever you work out to be something that's inviting to you. And appealing. But at the same time, you do have to make sure you're more productive than just busy.
I agree. All right, we have a pretty cool story for you. Frank Ocean's mother creates a sunscreen for people of color. Her name is Katanya. She kind of explained that she was sick of putting sunscreen on, and I don't know if you had that problem out there listening, but sometimes you get that white Casper overtone, and she was sick of it. So she's teamed up with her son, who is Frank Ocean, like I said, and created a product called Unsung. And it's a broad spectrum face cream, and it works well with all skin types, dark, light, anything. And it was designed by Brew after years of frustration, like I said, using SPFs that just gave her that ghostly color.
Yeah, I went through the same thing. Putting on the SPF, I didn't mind as much, but certainly it wasn't always a good look.
She goes on to talk about how she went to, a demonstration after she launched the product a couple weeks ago in LA, and it really gave the blonde woman even a nice glow, like, white skin, blonde hair, but it also blended into the darker skin colors. and gave them a nice tint. The active ingredient that she has in the product is zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. So it's not going to irritate your skin, and it's not going to penetrate into your bloodstream. So she seems very health conscious as well, and I like that she even noted the different ingredients that are in the sunscreen. So kudos to her. She also says there are some companies that do need to do better when it comes to other products, especially for women of color. She says she's starting with this sunscreen, but hopefully this will launch her into creating many other products with this issue.
Yeah, I'm glad she's done this, because I think so many times people of color assume we don't need sunscreen. It's not necessary, but we do, and
yes, we do.
Yeah, we still can get skin cancer. We can still peel, and we can still burn. So it took me. I burned once before.
I did too. So. Yeah, I was like, what?
So
really?
yeah, it's definitely something that you have to watch out for, regardless.
All right, we have 4 ways to increase your willpower. Oftentimes, I'll train clients, and other trainers will say to me, they lack willpower. That's their issue. And after, researching and on willpower, how to get it, even I struggle with the willpower. I found these cool 4 tips to increase your willpower. One of them one thing that I found out that was interesting about this was that your nutrition has a lot to do with willpower. Yeah. If you are malnourished and fatigued, sleep as well, you will have a harder time making those important decisions.
Yeah, well, they tell you never go to the grocery store hungry.
Oh, man. You know what I do? This is bad. I go to the grocery store, and if I'm hungry, I always get like trail mix or like almonds or cashews. I snack as I shop, and I tell, but the good thing is I tell when I get it, rung up, I say, hey, I've been eating this for a while.
There was about 5 pounds in that bag.
Exactly. So they it's funny, a lot of times they'll just be like, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. We'll just weigh whatever's left, I'm like, I'm sorry, I was hungry. So, one of those things, like we said, is being malnourished. You want to make sure you eat healthy, especially if you have, for me, I love sweets. That is if I see cake, I just want to eat it, So if I have any chance of not eating that cake, I need to be fed. Yeah. And I've been doing this for the last couple of days, and it actually has been working. Today there was cupcakes and cake in the gym, and I was like, oh, I'm actually full. I'm okay. Oh, nice. Who brings cupcakes and cake to the gym? But, for us trainers who work there and it's somebody's birthday party.
Then you get all that.
And so another topic we just kind of discussed was the sleep. You have to have adequate sleep. I think with anything in life, if you want to give 100% and succeed in any area, you need sleep. Your body needs, sufficient sleep. I know I'm wearing my polar heart rate monitor, and what I love about this is
it tells you your sleep cycle,
it
right?
tracks my sleep cycle. I'll pull it up for you guys now.
So did you get good sleep?
Let's see. It varies, and it's.
Does it ever does it match up to what you think? You wake up, do you feel rested, then you realize you had awful sleep before?
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, wait, what's going on? Okay, so I slept. I did pretty well last night. I slept 8 hours and 21 minutes. I had 84% restful sleep.
Oh, wow.
Of that, 7 hours and 1 minute was actually like deep restful sleep, and an hour and 20 minutes was restless sleep. But I know that to be true, because I usually go in my room an hour earlier. Like if I know I want to be asleep by 11, I'll get in the bed 10 o'clock, just to shut my brain down. I'll black out the room, make sure the curtains are closed. I'll dim my phone, and I'll
just wind down.
Yeah, so that makes sense. I knew I wasn't sleeping the entire time.
That's so smart, though, because then you can kind of figure out what your sweet spot for sleep is. Like, that can let you figure out, oh, I need 6 hours of deep sleep to feel amazing, or I need only 4, or I need 8,
Yeah.
So that's a great way to track your own metrics.
All right, I'm looking at this study. I'm trying to find the other 2 topics. Let's see.
Got it.
So another one is, it all depends from hour to hour, depending on the degree of immediately recent mental stress. I guess that makes sense because I notice when I'm stressed out, I'll go eat something.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter
of course, yeah.
if I just ate, if I had a long night's sleep, I will just grab it. I think stress can do a lot of things to us where we wouldn't normally want to do.
Yeah.
But we're stressed and we just want to feel better.
And then you got to have your coping mechanisms. And what do you eat when you're stressed? You know, if you're eating vegetables or fruit or chips or something that is healthier than you would normally be eating, I think that can help a lot.
Yeah, so this article is saying, meditation will help with that. If you can control the stress, meditate, that will increase your willpower. And the last one, last but not least, cleaning your room. That's interesting. Again, maybe that would correlate with the stress.
Yeah.
I know when I'm overwhelmed, my place needs to be clean. If you have too much going on.
Well, yeah.
Shaka's laughing. I think he's a messy person. He's probably like, I throw everything everywhere.
No, I believe it to be true. Like when you have a clean space, though, that your mind is more ordered. I find when I'm clean, like I can actually think a little bit clearer.
Yeah, because you're not focusing or getting distracted by all the clutter and all the old food you didn't throw away and
I think
laundry.
It's so important because I think what you really want for willpower is to create habits. And so I always try to get people to create habits for themselves, like going to the gym. How do you have the willpower to go to the gym every day? It's because I tell myself if I do zero workout or a long one, I'm still going to go. If I go to the gym and decide to sit in the sauna for 10 minutes and leave, which I've done, it's still creating that habit. So sometimes you have to just train yourself. So maybe you have that piece of food before you go grocery shopping. And you just make that the mission, is having that food before you go grocery shopping. Yeah. All of a sudden, that becomes habit after doing it for a long enough period of time. So then you're not falling into these positions where your willpower is weak.
Yeah. Tony Robbins, he does this. He literally every morning jumps into a cold tub of like freezing water, and he explained in his latest documentary, which was pretty good on Netflix, I'm Not Your Guru, he explained the reason why he does this is because he wants to train his body and his mind that he is in control. What he thinks, what he says, he's going to do. So, and it wakes you up once you're in there. It shocks you.
It gives you a huge testosterone boost, too.
Yeah. So, kudos to Tony. Yeah. I don't know if I'll be doing that every morning. Sometimes I'll take a cold shower to wake more up.
Yeah,
but
that's an undercover fitness tip. It can also lead to a boost in testosterone. So
I don't need any more of that, but thank you. All right, our next topic to chat about is why you should ditch the shoes when you go to the gym. I have seen girls and guys alike do this, and I always questioned it. The first thing that rings or comes to mind is that's dangerous.
Exactly, and
all that weight. And you drop it on your feet?
Yeah, and they did say that it was not really beneficial for squats because of the risk of injury. So when you are doing squats, you might want to wear some sort of a shoe that gives you some support. But for deadlifts, it might be a workout that would strengthen those muscles.
Yeah, so this article says your foot has almost an identical architecture to your hand. Imagine if you stuffed your hands in thick gloves all day, you decrease your awareness and sensation of those limbs. So not only are you gaining strength, but you're gaining, I think, more movement, you're gaining more sensory. Yeah. I don't know if I would try this. I know as a gymnast, growing up, I wouldn't wear shoes, but that's because we weren't lifting weight, But I feel like I have more balance, or I can do some things that a lot of people say, well, how can you do that? And I just feel like I have a lot of balance in my feet because I did gymnastics for so long barefoot.
Yeah, and I did the Vibram shoes. I've done the barefoot shoes in the gym, and I did find a difference. And I felt that
you did?
Oh, yeah, I was getting stronger in areas of my foot that I hadn't really felt get strong before. So that was interesting. So it does definitely increase strength in areas that are underutilized in the leg.
So when you wore those shoes, did they stink?
No, because I put powder in them.
Oh, okay. Oh my goodness. I never bought into those because I had friends who would wear them, and after like a week, I could just smell their feet, and they would wash them, and it still wouldn't like.
Yeah, the first day I wore it, my foot had like a lot of sweat was in.
Yeah.
So I just bought powder and started powdering it down after that.
All right, so here are some workouts that if you do want to try this method, you want to increase gains, stability, and all that stuff. Here are 4 exercises that you can do barefoot. Lunges, sprints. Ooh, I don't know about that. If you're on a mat or turf.
Maybe a nice soft surface,
yeah. Deadlifts, like we said, and push-ups. Push-ups, I understand.
Yeah.
I have a lot of my clients,
and you gain a lot of balance through the toes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll have a lot of my clients do push-ups and planks and sit-ups at home without shoes.
Yeah, we underutilize our toes because they're in these huge shoes, so people don't have that same sensory tactile information that strengthens the toes and the foot.
Yeah. All right, so we have one more topic for you guys. Sorry if this episode is a little short. Again, we thought we were going to have a guest on tonight, so we are doing the best we can. But we have a research that shows that there is a dark side to wearing fitness trackers. Dun, 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 dun. Now, you guys always see me with my Polar watch when I come on the show. I am such a big advocate, and I think there's a lot of upside to wearing fitness trackers. You can get instant motivation. I know when I'm working out and I didn't hit my goal, I will literally stay on, whatever piece of equipment I'm on for longer so that I can hit my goal. I love feeling that achievement when my watch says, you reached your goal and it vibrates and says, you did it. Woo-hoo.
Give you that little positive affirmation.
Yeah, or when I get good sleep, I'm like, wow, I'm getting good sleep. This is motivating me in a way that I really didn't motivate myself before.
But now, if you forget it at home, is your day ruined?
Oh man! And so these are the downsides of these fitness trackers. I mean, did I really work out if I wasn't wearing it? Did those calories burn?
Yeah, did it count?
And I've talked to other people about this. You can get addicted, and I think once you're on the extreme. With anything, if you're on one side of the table and you're too extreme, it's not going to be good. Yeah. So I feel like, if you go to the gym, you forget your fitness tracker, you shouldn't go home just to get it. You should still work out and maybe manually put it in.
Yeah, it's the same thing with cell phones that we feel so naked. And so it's almost like you have to be aware of getting dependent on something else.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's getting to the point where technology is even incorporating I guess joining up with Google, Levi's clothes, different, technologies where your garments are going to be able to even track how much you're breathing, if you're getting enough air into your lungs. It's crazy. It's your oxygen, CO2, pH, hydration, and blood pressure all through the future.
I think that'll be our next addiction is like just tracking ourselves, biohacking.
Yeah, and it's even to the point where they're talking about internal microchips and digital tattoos.
Could be useful, could be scary.
and that's where I'm like, well, wait, how do we really feel about living with technology in or on our bodies 24/7?
I think it's such a cool concept, but in a capitalistic society, I think it could affect so much, whether you're insured or whether,
And that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. If you have health insurance, and you want, a certain life insurance,
they may look at your tracker and say, look,
nope, we're not going to give it to you. You're not qualified for it.
At the same time, you now have the information that, hey, maybe I can do something about this. So,
Well, I think, again, it's back and forth. But I like the fact that, I see doctors who will prescribe their patients to do certain things. And now I feel like those doctors can hold them more accountable because they could tap in, well, I'm looking at your fitness tracker and you're not putting in enough steps. Yeah. And this is going to be a huge health issue because I know so many times where people have gone into the doctor or even my clients come into me, oh no, I've been working out. Yeah, even though I haven't seen you, I've been working out every day.
And you know better, but you don't have a fitness tracker to say, hey.
Exactly. Exactly. So this is very interesting. What do you guys think about it? Do you think, there is a downside to fitness trackers? Do you think the future of fitness trackers, like what I'm talking about, it's almost, I feel like we're in the Jetsons, like it's going to be crazy. Do you feel like that's going overboard where we'll have microchips or even our clothing will be able to access that information?
I mean, I think if it can be done ethically and responsibly, more information is always going to be better. But, the ethical and responsible part are the hardest things we have in society to accomplish.
I'm definitely open to trying this stuff. I don't know about a chip that goes inside me, but anything that I could wear or put on, I am
in favor of.
I'm game.
Yeah, I think I feel you on that one.
All right, you guys. So that's all we have for the show. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. If you guys have anything that you want us to research or to talk about, let us know because we love hearing from you. Actually, I'm going to pull up one of you guys who left a comment where we'll give a shout out to some of our listeners. Let's see. Our latest comment comes from Awana Scott. Thanks for watching, Awana Scott. She says, I love this show. It's very informative and motivating. So thank you, Awana Scott. Hopefully, you can tell us more how you're motivated or what you're doing or what you've learned from our show. Tandy Pope, I really appreciate the show. It is great. And I love that they added it to the BHL lineup. So Tandy, thank you for that. We're happy to be on BHL doing what we love to do.
Yeah, and I think maybe next week we'll get maybe a call-in number and have viewers call in if they have any questions.
That would be cool. Okay, we'll work on that so you guys can call in. And if you guys are reading fitness books out there, I just started reading Wheat Belly.
Oh, okay.
Very interesting. I'll elaborate next week, but what I am learning... life-changing.
I'm excited.
So you gotta stay tuned. All right, you guys, we'll see you next week on Fit Club. Where can they find you, Shaka?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Shaka Strong.
And you guys can find me at fitwithfallon.com or on IG at fitwithfallon. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
From executives Keven Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.